Alright, a very good afternoon, Twitch fans. Welcome back to another session of A Pilot's Life with Captain Nabs. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're all staying healthy out there today. As you can see, we're doing another leg in the majestic Q400-8. Starting out here at Gate 18 out in Calgary. We got a little bit of VATSIM ATC online today, so I'm a little bit excited for that, to actually take advantage of it. Look, we've even got some other WestJetters there. Don't mind the fact that there's no gear apparently on that aircraft. It's not a perfect system. Nice to nonetheless see some other people next to us here. But yeah, at WestJet's home base here in Calgary, we're definitely going to see some WestJet flights out there. So today, what we're doing is we're taking off from Calgary. We're going to be heading west into the mountains for a really quick short turn. Oh, and I thought we had this in here, but apparently we didn't have this logged in yet. Thinking about it. There it is. Alright, so there's my dashboard, but what we're more concerned with right now, our current flight for today is a pretty straightforward flight. It's Calgary, almost due west to Kamloops. Not a long flight, it's about 400 miles, I think, here. I mean, not 45 minutes, I think it's about 200 miles. So let's go ahead and select an aircraft. We've already dispatched it. There we go. Now that we got an aircraft, now it's going to give us distance and everything. It's weird that it won't calculate things without an aircraft selected, but 244 miles. Not very far. So that'll take us hopefully about 45 minutes to an hour to get there. And if we have time, I'd like to finish the turn and just come right back to Calgary. That's our next flight. If you check our future flight schedule here, Calgary to Kamloops and Kamloops back to Calgary again. I don't know if we're going to get time to do it, but we're going to see if we can get it done. Let's make sure we're on this current flight page here, just to make sure that it does auto-activate when the time comes. So we're going to hop in the flight deck and we're going to go ahead and get this party started here, as always. And give me one moment here. Because I realized very quickly there that my track IR was not actually set up. So there it is now, and let me just confirm that it is in prepared mode. It is running in prepared mode. It seems a little bit sensitive right now, but that's okay. Alright, today we've got a cold and dark flight deck today, so we're going to start this turn with a complete cold and dark flight deck, first flight of the day. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hit up my first checklist here, which is, of course, the power on checklist. Power up checklist, depending on the airline and how you say it. Alright, flight deck power up checklist. Alright, so aircraft flight log will say is check circuit breakers. All checked out over there. Landing gear is down and radar is off. Battery master main aux standby. All the batteries are on. Main bus tie also tied. Engine intake bypass doors. We'll make sure those are open. It won't do anything until we get some power to the airplane, but nevertheless. Position lights. Nav lights should always be on. That fault light will go away after the self-test is done. Flight deck displays. Everything seems to be booting up with a bunch of T's. So then we just need to make sure that we also have our ARC-DUs, our radios units on here. And we'll also activate the FMSs. In a second, should see the power on messages come on the FMSs here, unless I have. Although I'm not 100% sure that they will come on without the GPU on. It's weird to turn the displays on before the GPU's on. Standby PTU pumps are off. Emergency brake is set to park. External power, APU. So we got the GPU hooked up. Let's go ahead and put that on there. There we go. Now we got some power coming to everything. Now that you get the FMS started as well. There it goes. Okay. FMSs are coming on now. External power APU, main and nose landing gear, release, pull, and close up. There we go. Okay, and safety equipment documents. We'll see checked FMS initialized, and it looks like it is initialized. That is, the database is good for a couple more days, weeks. Alright, so I think we're good to go. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to quickly bring up my chat window, so if any of you want to chat, I can see it here. Last time I had a little trouble connecting to it, so I'm just going to make sure we've got it on my other screen here as well, and we do. Okay, good. Alright, so there is the flight deck power-up checklist. Now we're going to basically just quickly get this guy started here.
Hey Captain, how are you today?
I am good. Alright, so we're going to get 30 minutes. 30 minutes is on the clock. We definitely want to get this airplane out of here within 30 minutes. That's our goal, is to get it done in 30 minutes or less. So let's see how we do it here today. Alright, so let's go ahead with the normal flight deck setup flows. He's going to go out and do the walk around. Still looks weird without the landing gear. This is the Fly AI traffic model, so it's weird that I think they're pretty good quality, so it's weird to see that they are missing some stuff there. Is that the 8th? Is it the 8.7 or the 6.7? I guess it's the 6.7. This doesn't have the fancy engines. Just weird. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and flow through the flight deck, make sure everything's set up first for our flight before we move into our FMS. So the electric panel, everything is all on. Ice protection, the only thing is now the engine intake bypass doors are open. Exterior lights we don't need yet. And we should probably be testing the fire protection here because we're going to be doing the 24-hour system checks on this one today. We're going to call it first flight on the airplane. And then we don't need that, so we can power that back off. And the other side. And you should see also the warning lights come on. If you do it too quickly, the system doesn't reset itself. And you should see smoke as well. Alright. That all looks good. Alright, and I'm going to go through the 24-hour system checks in a second here. I'm just going to make sure we got everything here. I'm going to put this to armed. No smoking. We're going to fill the fuel tanks in a minute. Actually, what we should be doing is calling GSX to come and fill the tanks for us.
Now for the walk around.
Alright, thank you. Those are off, those are on, those are 12 o'clock. Alright, so before I do anything else, let's call GSX. Let's go ahead and request refueling. And let's go ahead and also request catering. We're going to wait until the cabin crew requests boarding to request boarding on this aircraft. Alright, so 24-hour system checks, things we do need to turn on. We need to turn on the auto feather. Let's see here, we'll do stall test 1. Number 1 system fail, pusher fail. You can hear the stall, warning rattling there. So in a second, 5 seconds, you see number 2 stall system fail, pusher system fail, and you can hear the rattling. If you were in the real airplane, you'd also even feel it shaking through the control column. That's the sound of the control column rattling. ADC1, 14,360 on 2923, 285, 284, and you get the beeping. And then, I don't think it... Oh, it did. 285, 284, 14,360, 2923, and you can hear the overspeed warning horn going there as well. Alright, do a PA test, trim test, move all the trims, make sure they all move. Alright, and that's basically it. Okay, so the 24-hour system check's done. We're done the overhead panel, so we're going to move across into setting up for the departure here in Calgary. So today we do have ATC online. Looking down here, oh, I stand corrected. We had ATC online, and now they left, just as we logged on. Well, that's a real shame. Thought we were going to have some ATC for once. Alright, so Calgary, 1 3/4, overcast at 400 feet. The winds are out of the southeast, so we're still favoring a 1617 departure. So let me pull up my Navigraph charts as always, because what would I do without Navigraph charts, right? Here we go, Navigraph charts, Calgary. Show me, first of all, the airport info, And we're also going to do the Calgary 7 departure for today. So first of all, airport info. Let me just shrink this down a little bit more so you guys can see the whole screen here. There we go. That should just about do it. So for 17 right, the runway heading's 165, so we're going to plan on that for departure. Oh, here's our fuel truck. Hold on a second, buddy. I'll get you the fuel order in 1 second. Let me just pull out my flight plan. It says 7,800. So we'll go with number 8,200. Alright, and the auto feather test there passed. I'm just looking at the screen, so we can go ahead and close that off. Sorry, what was I? Yes, we were on, runway heading. So we determined it was 165. Alright, and the altitude on this departure, on this Calgary 7 departure here, is, I want to say 7,000? Yes, there it is in the corner, 7,000. So we'll go ahead and get 7,000 up. Alright, waiting to open exit 4.
Hi guys, do you mind if we start boarding now?
Yes.
Thanks, I'll be back with the load sheet later.
Alright, so we're boarding, so request boarding. Alright, let's see here. We also need the altimeter. Get that from vPilot here. Pulled it up on the VATSIM network, 2981. And then we just need to go ahead and get our speeds in there, and also our acceleration altitude here. Calgary again, charts. Calgary airport elevation 3606, 37 when we round up, so we need 47 for our acceleration altitude. This might take me a second to wind this all the way up there, especially if that keeps on flinging over there like that, and it does do that from time to time. This is probably the most frustrating thing about track IR. Is this little DHMDA, as you move your head around ever so slightly. I try to hold my head really still, but you move it ever so slightly and all of a sudden you're pushing a different switch than you think you are. So it takes some real careful holding your head really still to get that moved without causing a problem. Alright, the other thing we're going to need is some takeoff numbers, so we might as well start dealing with the weights. And I thought I had run the Majestic control panel, but apparently I did not. So here it is, weight and balance for today. We're going to go to our SimBrief flight plan on my other screen here, and look at the weight and balance listing, 68 people. Highly unlikely in the age of COVID that you've got that many people on board, but nevertheless, we're going to see if we can get close to 68 people. I meant to do that to 16 and 11. There we go. That's 68 people. We'll round this down a little bit to 1,400. And then our takeoff fuel today, we were looking for 7,800. And our trip fuel is pretty low, but our alternate is all the way down to Vancouver because the weather here in the Calgary east of the mountains is not great. It's overcast at 400 feet, so not a very good alternate to come back here. So our alternate's actually to go all the way to Vancouver. We need about 2,700 pounds to do this trip here today, so we can send that data to the flight sim. And of course, GSX is waiting for me to give a number of passengers. There we go. Alright, yeah, so there we go. So our takeoff weight today is being estimated at 63,000. The fuel should be good now, 7,800, so 63,000. We could do a flap 5 takeoff because we frankly have a long runway here. So let's do that. Flap 5, 63,000 pound. There we go. Alright, so we're looking at for flap 5, we're looking at 135 for a V1. That's a jet level V1 right there. You can take off flap 5. It's not a bad thing on a short runway, but especially if you're close to maximum weight, which we always seem to be on these flights. SimBrief always seems to project us to be at or very close to max weight. $143, $155. Okay. So we got our speeds in there. Everything looks good on the PFD. We just have to switch to FMS as a nav source. And we have to get the go-around bars up. And we just need to move. Those should be in disk when they're not being used. Alright, we got go-around. We need to have heading alt cell and the yaw damper on. And then we're
I'm
all
back
set
from the
up.
walk around. Everything looks good.
Thank you. Got elevator asymmetry. Oh, that is weird. We got full deflection on one elevator. Okay. I'm gonna fire this airplane up. Normally you shouldn't see that. I'm gonna fire this airplane up and see if once we get this airplane running, if we can move that. Actually, what we might be able to do even is just turn on the standby high pump. No, we can't even turn on standby high pump because we need AC power for that to run, so yeah. The number 3 system may be able to move the elevators. There we go. We got the elevators to move in sync. The elevator asymmetry caution light's been gone. Good, because elevator asymmetry is a big no-no. You can fly with an elevator asymmetry, but you can't depart with it, so. Okay, let's see here. So we got our PFD is all fully set up. Our MFD looks fine right now. And so our FO's doing his originating flows. We're just going to go through the rest of the flight deck, 2981, 2981, make sure everything else is set up correctly here. And he needs to accept that on his side as well. Boarding is already done, and we're still just going here. But we've got, I think we've got still another 15 minutes here on the FS2 crew timer, which is the one that I'm sort of worrying about here. Alright, elevator asymmetry. Is there like a wind that's going on here today that's blowing this thing around? Okay, anyways, we know that when we got hydraulics, we reset that failure, so we're not too worried about it anymore. Is that what keeps triggering? Is it to keep being elevator asymmetry? Because there shouldn't be anything really triggering at this point. Aux battery. Was that because I ran the number 3? Okay. I've been messing around with this in a bit of a weird way today. Let's get this airplane fired up and see if we can get most of these gremlins to go away once we've got full electrical and hydraulic power established. So we're just going to do 122.8. We're going to do
terrain.
2000 for a transponder code. I think I need to clean my throttle quadrant a little bit because she's got a little bit of motion on her without me even doing anything. I think she's got some dirty contacts nowadays. Wow. Some dirty contacts there. At least this might need some cleaning. Okay. I think we got everything ready pretty much except for the FMS, which, same as last time, I am going to continue.
TCAS system test OK.
I'm just going to pause my track IR there for a second because we're going to go ahead and continue with the FMS. And actually, before I do that, I am just going to pop this out so you guys can see what I'm typing in here. But I do have in the corner there, you can see it. Oh, it was there. Now it's partly cut off for some reason. I must have moved it slightly. Like that. Alright. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and set this up. We're going to go to our flight plan page, and we're going to set up Calgary. And for some reason, it's not working here. It's not linked up. It seems to be taking the input, but for some reason if in doubt, reload. There we go. So I reloaded. And now, that's why. So something had happened and it sort of froze the image a little bit, but that's okay. Alright, I hear that stupid alarm going off. I'm getting very annoyed with it. We're going to ignore it. We're going to fix it once we've got the engine started. That's not the real way to do it, but I think it's just a glitch that we're going to have to deal with until the engines start. Maybe it's the wind or something in Calgary is doing it. Alright, so we're going to plan to depart 17 right today, which is a pretty short taxi out. We're going to use the Calgary 7 departure, which is just a straightforward vector SID off runway 17 right. Then we're going to hit up a couple of fixes on the way over to Kamloops. The first is, let's see, Ravma, and then Uksap. Oops, thinking like a Boeing driver here. Thinking I have a scratch pad when I don't in this airplane. Ravma, Uksap, Uksap. Novar and Uksid. I certainly hope we can get into Kamloops. It's going to be very annoying if we have to divert. But sometimes that's the way life is, and very rarely in an airline will you ever really just not go. Most of the time you just go and you just say to heck with it and figure it out en route. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this no link because that is our flight plan today. Delete. There we go. So it is Uksid direct Kamloops. There is currently no departure. I don't believe there's an arrival procedure, so we're just going to go with that. So there's our flight plan inputted. Then we're going to go ahead with our fuel page. Put in some fuel information. Again, go into the sim brief flight plan for all this information here. So our alternate fuel today, 48 minutes to get to Vancouver, 1720. So 1720. And then our holding fuel, our 45-minute final reserve is 1380. And our extra is, well, we're always just going to put 0. Any extra we have, we just want it to show up as extra, and we don't need to reserve it for later. So total reserves of 3100. Fuel on board right now, I believe we loaded 7800. That looks like 39 plus 39 is 7800. So 7800. Input, nope. And again, that double tap error is the only problem with this AviaWorx CDU is you have to be slow anytime there's a double tap. You can't just hit 00 because it'll assume that it's a mistake that you didn't mean to tap it twice. So you have to tap very slowly when you're tapping twice. Otherwise, great little system here. Really love it. The other thing we need, of course, is our ZFW 54851. 54851, and this then allows our aircraft to calculate its current weight. The only other thing we need to do, of course, is the time zone for landing is the Pacific time zone, which is 7 hours, displaced -7 from Zulu time. So it's 11:36, so it's not even afternoon yet in Kamloops. And that's it. Our FMS is all set up, ready to go. I think our airplane is just about set up and ready to go, so we're ready to start running some checklists. I got 13 minutes till we're supposed to depart for an on-time departure. Let's see if we can get this done here. I think we're going to be okay. Before we do actually, yeah, we can do the 24-hour system checks first. Let me just pull out my checklist and make sure I'm ready to go with this guy here. 24-hour system checks checklist.
Engine fire detection.
Test.
APU fire detection.
Test.
Baggage smoke warning aft and forward.
Test.
Stall warning test 1 and 2.
Test.
ADC 1 and 2.
Test.
Auto feather.
Test.
GPWS TCAS. Test. PA system.
Test.
Trims.
Test.
24-hour system checks. Checklist complete.
Alright, very good. And now it's time for a departure briefing. Are you ready for the departure briefing?
Go ahead.
Alright, so again, I'm going to pull up our handy-dandy charts here from Navigraph. Thank you, Navigraph. It's going to be pretty straightforward today. So, because it's our first flight of the day, we'll go through the emergency briefing, any emergencies, any engine failures, fires, or abnormalities prior to V1 will stop on the runway. Anything after V1 will be treated in flight. No turns, in this case, below, we'll call it 4,700 feet. The emergency turn today will just be straight out departure. The specific departure procedure off of runway 17 right. First of all, the taxi out. We're at gate 19 here. Very straightforward taxi out. Kilo and Charlie. Okay, I'll close exit 4. Give me a break. To get to 17 right, no hot spots, no runway crossings along that route. That should do her. The SID, bring back my Navigraph. The SID today is the Calgary 7 departure. It's 10-3 Alpha, 26 March 2020, and it's going to be very straightforward again. Safe altitude 100 miles is 13,800, lots of mountains off to the west. You can see a few of them there, so we got to be careful of that. Non-jets for this departure, and runway 17 left and right, climb heading 165 or is assigned, no ATC, so I guess it's going to be runway heading, climb to maintain 7,000 for vectors to assigned effective route. So we've got the 165 heading in, we've got the 7,000 feet in, we're basically all set. Terrain, obviously there's mountains to the west, we need to make sure we do climb to a sufficient safe altitude. We'll keep an eye on the terrain charts. ATC would normally help us with that, we don't have them available to us today, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the terrain ourselves. Weather is, it's a little bit low here, it's possible to get back in, it's 400 feet, so it's not unbelievable, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge. It's 1 3/4 miles and 400 feet, so we don't need a takeoff alternate. I don't believe we've got one specified. However, we do need to consider that it will be an approach close to minimums if we do have to return here. Other than that, operational, no new NOTAMs, I think, affecting Calgary that I've seen since last time, and let's see here. No NOTAMs, the aircraft is fully functional. I don't have any MELs. Closed runways. Yeah, no, none of that. And then just keep an eye out for VATSIM traffic. I think is the only real operational consideration. That's all I've got. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
Alright, so he's just about ready to go. I'm just about ready to go. Just need a sip of my coffee here, so I'm ready to go. Alright, let's do it. Before start, checklist.
Stand by.
And he's got to do a couple of things. I'm just going to get rid of that FMS while he's doing his
Originating
thing.
checks flow.
Complete.
Complete. Gear pins. Stowed. Pre-flight checks.
Complete.
Complete. External power. APU voltage.
External power on 27 volts. On checked 27 volts.
Circuit breakers.
Checked.
Checked. Escape hatch.
Closed.
No steering.
Off.
Flight guidance control panel. Set. Fuel quantity. 7,809 pounds on board.
7,800 pounds required.
Hydraulic number 3 pressure.
Check. 0 psi.
Emergency brake. Pressure.
Park. Check.
Power levers.
Disc.
Condition levers.
Fuel off.
Emergency light switch.
Armed.
Fasten belt switch.
On.
On. Departure briefing.
Complete.
Complete. Before start, checklist complete.
Alright. I think we got... Okay, I think we got everything just about ready to go. So I think we're just going to fast forward a notch. I'm just going to have a quick look on VATSIM and see what the deal is here. Nobody else really around right now. Just the one guy next to us also getting ready to depart, but that's it. No other arrivals in Calgary for a little bit, so I think we're safe to depart without too much issue. So, yeah, let's go ahead and fast forward this
Hi
up a little bit
guys,
here.
here's the load sheet for you. Have a
Thank-
safe flight.
Thank you.
Alright guys, everyone's seated. We're all buttoned up and ready to go in the back.
Thank you.
If you need anything, just let me know.
Alright, let's just get GSX ready to go. Oh, they're still actually loading bags. I accidentally closed that door at some point. We're still loading bags. Where's my baggage train then? Here it comes. Okay, good. They'll be here in a minute. Okay, so we're still loading bags. This should only take about 2 or 3 minutes for us to get that done. Then we'll be on our way. I like the fact that it's still snowy out here in Calgary. I think they've had the same thing certainly here in eastern Canada, it's been a very mild second half of the winter. Most mild winter overall. The snow is all gone already. It's the end of March, and the snow is definitely all gone. The grass is growing, the trees are budding. It looks like spring outside. Let's see what else we've got here. This one, no. And what about this one? There we go. Watch them drive up and load the bags. It should only take about 5 minutes, if even that, to get the bags loaded. We'll be underway here. So far, so good. I just hope that none of these caution lights that keep showing up are going to affect us, but I don't think they will. It really is an effective animation. Like, when you look and watch GSX closely, it really is a lot of attention to detail here. You know, it looks really, like, all things considered, the amount of variables you have to sort of have for different objects to meet each other in the sim, it looks really good as this guy grabs literally one bag at a time and loads it. Tiny little jumps here and there, but overall, like, you gotta admire the detail, the time that went into making sure that these look good. It's the same 4 bags he loads over and over again. You know, frankly, I don't care. It's so well executed overall. You can even, if you look carefully, I don't know if you guys can really see it, but even inside the beacon on top of the tug there, you can see the light is rotating. It's not illuminated, but it is rotating in there. You can see it very faintly if you guys look. There we go. We do not need the icing today, no.
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start.
Alright, so he's going to go ahead and hop on, and he's going to go ahead and drive this thing away. That thing's going to pull itself away. Self-driving stairs, it's okay. But, like, look at the detail with which he sits down and everything. It really is quite phenomenal. Alright, these guys are ready for pushback. We just need to close that last... Nope, that's not the right switch. And we need to get rid of that jetway. There it goes.
Locking gear.
And then we're ready to do things. I'm not going to do single engine taxi out because it's a short taxi. There's no point in doing it. Have to start the engine right away anyways. So we'll just take advantage of FSN2 crew here to the max. Before start checklist to the line. Engine start checklist to the line.
Battery master, main auxiliary, standby.
On.
Doors, fueling lights.
Checked out. Checked and out. Check. Closed and out.
Anti-collision light.
On. Red.
Engine start checklist completed to the line.
Below the line.
APU bleed.
Off.
Engine, clear on 2.
Clear on 2.
Engine start checklist complete.
Start 2 for me, please.
Starting 2.
We're going to remove the GPU. Patience, GSX, patience. Gotta start an engine first.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Alright, so that's engine adapter heat. My elevator asymmetry and aux battery caution lights are gone, so everything's back to working normal now. Let's go ahead and take off the external power. Double check that the generator is carrying the load It is. It's not at
Release
0. It's
parking
carrying
brakes.
mode. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Please disconnect the GPU.
Roger, disconnecting the GPU.
Alright, that's associated with engine start. Give him a second. He's going to tell us when the GPU is released.
Release parking brakes.
Captain, the GPU is now disconnected.
Thank you.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brakes set.
Obviously, we already didn't pay attention to that. Looks like we're all clear. Clear on the left. Start engine 1 for me, please.
Okay.
Start engine 1 for me, please.
Okay.
Start 1 for me, please.
Starting 1.
See, he kept thinking, when I said start engine, he kept thinking it was me saying start again, which is the kind of thing that FS2 crew had to work through and figure out how best to, this floating 6-7 is really bugging me. How to come up with phrases, different phrases that would not be mistaken from one another. Alright, looks like normal start on 1 as well. That was associated with the engine start. That's engine adapter B1.
Set parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Yeah, you can go, GSX. You can go. We got good engine starts. There's a lot of waiting in the airline business. For those of you that have never flown in the airline business, there's a lot of waiting for things to happen. Oftentimes, you're waiting for the passengers to finish boarding. You're waiting for balance numbers. You're waiting for flight plans. You're waiting for an airplane to show up. You're waiting for maintenance to come and deal with stuff. You're waiting for the Gram guys to walk over and disconnect stuff. Things do not happen in a hurry in the airline business, that's for sure.
Unlocking gear.
You have to bring an unbelievable amount of patience to the airline game, because you're always waiting for somebody to do something.
Bypass bin removed.
And I try not to get upset about it, like when I have to deal with it. It's just the way the business is. You got to make sure everything's done, everything's correct, everything's safe before you do anything.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, he says left and right are clear. Condition levers to max. You can see it's foggy out here. It's not foggy, it's misty out here. There's definitely reduced visibility. It's not great. Parking brake. After start checklist.
Stand by.
That is number 1 red hide. One rudder PC will do it all. Number 2 red hide deactivated. Still, the rudder can be moved fully. And with both of them, the rudder still moves correctly.
External power, APU.
Off.
Main bus tie.
Off.
Ice protection.
Level 1. Checked level 1.
Check. Level 1. Rudder travel.
Checked. Full travel.
Rudder actuator test.
Complete.
No steering.
On.
Auto feather.
Auto feather select.
Engine rating.
End top 90%. End top. End top 90%. Checked.
Batteries.
Checked.
Flaps.
5 set and indicating.
5 set and indicating. Auxiliary standby PTU pumps.
On.
On. Hydraulic pressure quantity.
Checked.
Checked. Hydraulic number 3 in elevator. Checked. Caution warning lights.
Checked.
Flight instruments. Radios.
Checked. Checked.
Checked. Altimeters.
2981 set cross check.
2981 set. Cross check. Ice protection test.
We'll say complete. Guess we're gonna have to do it now anyways. Complete. Complete.
After start checklist complete.
Since we're gonna have to wait for this 6-7 now to move anyways, we might as well do the ice protection test. What? Wow, he's getting a crazy push there. Alright, we're gonna try and disregard him because he still has no landing gear and it's really throwing me off, so we're gonna put this on. Start our timer. Put that into test mode. What is this guy doing here? Okay, so both of them have tested without any failures. We need the heat to be on for 5 minutes. Increase ref switch. Should just trigger that message. It does. And then... So we come down, wait till we get to 3, 2, 1. And we time that. So that these should come in. So at 6 seconds, those should go to the second one. And then at 12, they should go to the third. So we're just checking the timing here. Right there. Good. Checking the timing of all of these things here. And there. And there. And there. Perfect. So that's good. And at there, it should go off. And then it should, when it comes back around to the bottom again, it should start the cycle again. I may be able to taxi by this guy here. Alright, so we'll just check this since we're watching the timer here. So right about now it should start the cycle again. Perfect, there it is. Timer's pretty darn close. Turn that to off, and that should do it. Clear on the left. Beat this off. Clear on the left.
And we are clear on the right.
Set taxi light to on.
Taxi light set to on.
Calgary traffic, this is Encore 3111 at gate 19, taxiing for departure runway 17 right, taxiing around the pushed back 767. Since there's nobody there, we can definitely cut around him a little bit. He's probably going to be a couple more minutes starting engines here. Remember that this guy always forgets to do. For some reason, he does not release the control locks anymore. I thought he did before, because that's the FO's job as part of his after start flows. Anyways. Before takeoff, checklist to the line.
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure. Light deck. Okay, thanks. Captain, they're secure in the back.
Thank you.
FA notification received. Takeoff briefing complete. Cabin PA complete. Condition levers.
Max.
Max. Trims.
3 set.
3 set. Takeoff warning test.
Tested.
Flight controls checked and free. Flight taxi.
Flight.
Radar terrain. Transponder TCAS on out. Before takeoff checklist completed to the line.
Alright. So far, so good. Actually, before I do anything else, we're just going to hold short of the runway here for 1 second. We are just going to make sure the flight tracker did start automatically the way it should, because it would be very annoying to start to do this whole flight and find out the tracker was not tracking. Set taxi light to off.
Taxi light set to off.
Just for a second, we'll take a nice little exterior shot and then pull up my tracker here. And it did switch to N flight, which means that we are correctly in flight, so there we go. Just taking a few gratuitous screenshots, external screenshots, so I can have something for later. Calgary traffic, Encore 3111 is entering runway 17 right for departure. Calgary 7 departure westbound towards Kamloops. Alright, we should have a little more power than that. Strobe should be on for the runway. Today. Below the line.
Leads men on. External lights on. Runway.
17 right, heading 165. Runway 17 right, heading 165.
Before takeoff, checklist complete.
Ready? Takeoff. Check power. Check power.
Power checked. knots.
Checked.
B1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up. Acceleration altitude.
Flap 0. Climb power. Set IAS 200. Flap 0. Climb power. Set IAS 200. Flaps up. Climb power. Set IAS 200. Autopilot on.
Autopilot is on. 1,000 to go.
Why can I not
Airport traffic,
phrase this?
SkyWest 4555, turning final runway 24 right.
Why can I not remember what the phrase is? Flaps 0, IAS 200, climb checklist to the line. That's why.
Traffic. Traffic.
Alright, he's down below me, so let's go ahead and keep climbing. So this guy deactivates everything on me.
Climb checklist completed to the line.
Checked.
Maintain a vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain.
Alright, disengaging the autopilot. Because anytime you get a TCAS RA, you have to disengage the autopilot. We're also going to start the turn to the west. Set heading 270.
Charger for traffic, Skywest 4555 on a 7 mile final runway 35 right, Calgary, Jump.
Alright,
Heading
now we finally get
70, set.
under control a little bit here. Let's go ahead and get my next direct to here. So let's go direct to our first fix here, which is Ravma. There we go. And then ARM nav mode. ARM LNAV. ARM nav. Alright, I'll just do it myself. There's got to be a command for doing it, but I don't know what it is. Calgary traffic, Encore 3111 is clear of runway 17 right in the right turnout towards Kamloops. Alright, so now we're on our way. That was a bit of a botched departure, which is a little unfortunate there. Everything was going pretty well until I forgot what the command was for the after takeoff checklist. Silly as that is, but that's what I forgot. Alright, so we're in pitch hold mode, that's fine. We're going to keep climbing in pitch hold. We're just going to get up to 13,000 to do our 10 ups, because we want to do it at 10 above. Now, if you look down there, you can see the trapezoid's way out. We got a lot of power on this airplane, a lot of asymmetric thrust as a result. We need to trim that away. You've never trimmed an airplane as much as you've ever trimmed a Dash 8. You look at the size of the engines out here. You got two 13-foot blades. 13-foot, 6 blades on each side, with a total 13-foot diameter on each side. It's a huge amount of thrust, and it isn't symmetrical. In a turboprop, it's always asymmetric, so you're always, as you adjust power, you're going to have to trim away those power adjustments. Alright, now we're through 10,000. Below the line.
Climb checklist complete.
Alright, we can take off the seatbelt sign as well, because it seems like it's a pretty nice day overall here. And we're on our way to Kamloops. Another leg underway here. Let's just have a quick look down here. I can do it on here, but you guys are not going to be able to read that at all, I don't think, what that says down there. So we'll go ahead and pop it out here. Do it this way. It says 1 hour and 7 minutes. That is at our current climb speed. Currently grounding 250 knots. As we accelerate, that's going to get a little better. So we're just going to pitch down just a degree or two, just to keep the nose a little lower, keep us a little bit more speed. And we did get 5 minutes out of the windshield heat without any errors popping up, so we did successfully complete that part of the 24-hour ice check as well. So that's it, we're underway here. This guy does not seem to think we're underway because he doesn't have the direct to in there. Normally you'd have to sync them both up. I'll sync for him. Ravma number 4. Enter. Now he's synced up as well, so now we're both underway. And there we go, another leg in the dash ready to go. Avoided the airplane that was inbound in the opposite direction to us at Calgary. He made a traffic call. I honestly didn't hear the fact that he said 35 left the first time. I heard the descending call, but I didn't hear the runway he was planning to use. But that was probably who set up our TCAS RA there. It's okay. We dealt with it. That's what the TCAS system is there for. It's it's difficult when you're at uncontrolled airports, especially major airports, which normally everyone expects to have control at. And I wonder what the wind's doing now, because the wind was definitely favoring 1.7. Not by a whole lot. It was more a crosswind than anything, but... 110 at 9, which makes it really about 130, so yeah, still 1.7 right, should have been. Oh wow, but the visibility fell right behind us there too. It's now a half mile behind us in Calgary, showing RPR plus 6,000, but the visibility is definitely dropping in freezing fog. Temperature is -6 there, so I'm glad we got out of there when we did. We might have had to go de-ice just to get out of there. Alright, there's a transition. Set standard. Set 2992. 2992 set, cross check.
2992.
I have not been flying the Dash as much lately. I've been really enjoying the 737 lately, so I have sort of fallen a little bit behind in my FS2 crew calls a little bit. It's something you have to practice, and you still have to practice to keep it up. Unfortunately, the virtual FO is not as forgiving as a real-world FO. Real-world FO will usually recognize when you're trying to say something and either prod you in the right direction or just assume that you're saying what the correct SOP is anyways, and you'll carry on that way. In FS2 crew, there's no such privilege. You have to say it verbatim, or the guy will not understand you. 1 hour to Kamloops. Solid flight deck out, or it's pretty solid cloud deck out there. I certainly hope the weather's good enough to land in Kamloops. This could be a very challenging approach. Let's see what it says here. No, in Kamloops it's beautiful. It's 40 miles, a few clouds of 2,500 feet. So in Kamloops it's fine. Just Calgary behind us is disappearing quickly into a fog bank. One thing I never did. I never brought those condition levers back to climb power to sync with the FO, but I did now. Good, and just carrying on. So there's UXAP coming up. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see how far we got to go here. So our distance to go is 222 miles. We got 1 hour. Once we nose the airplane over here at 24,000, it's going to pick up speed pretty darn quick. Even at this heavy weight, she's still going to pick up quite a bit of speed, so we're definitely going to slice probably about 20 minutes off that time. We'll probably slice it down to like 40 minutes by the time we accelerate. Don't have much of a headwind today. 34 knots, if you can see it there in the corner of the MFD. 34 knots, quartering headwind, so not nearly as much as when we were going up to Fort St. John on the last turn, where it was a lot more than that. But as we head west in the mountains, it looks like the weather's going to clear out nicely for us. Not going to see much right now, which is a shame, because it's some beautiful scenery out there as we head into the mountains. But you'll see more of it. Alright, almost there. 1,500 feet to go. It should take us just over a minute, and then she's going to level off and really pick up some speed. She's really kind of slowing down there. I could pitch down a little bit, but we're so close to leveling off, I don't really want to lose the vertical speed at this point. I'd rather just let it go. Let it go, level off, and then we'll pick up that speed off towards Kamloops. Let's see if I can get some airports on here as well. If you click the data button once, that gives you nav, that gives you VORs. Click it a second time, it gives you the airports around you, and click it a third time, it gives you everything. Alt cell. Alt cell is highlighted this time, so we are going to level off there, which is good. 58 minutes now, so yeah, so now we got some airports there. As we go past, we're going to sail pretty close to Kelowna there. A little bit to the north, but we're going to pass pretty close to Kelowna as we head west here. Now Kamloops will be a little bit interesting. This is one airport where I believe I found a freeware package. I can't even remember if I installed it, to be honest. There was a freeware package. It wasn't great. It was, and I'm not trying to criticize whoever put in the effort to doing it, but not a bit of an improvement over the stock, but using still like basic textures, so it's not going to look that great. It's going to be basically more or less a default airport when we get to Kamloops. But that's okay. It's part of the fun, the exploration, seeing new places. I've never been to Kamloops before. I don't know even what the approaches look like. I really did look at them very closely. Fortunately, it's VFR when we get there, so we'll be able to spot it hopefully from nice and far away. There's Alt. Now we're accelerating. Ground speed 235. We still need to add almost 90 knots to our ground speed here, so we're going to knock it down to about 40 minutes. It's not a long flight to Kamloops. It's pretty darn quick, which is good. We want to get it done. And then we'll have a look at what the time is. I don't think we're going to have time for return flight, because it's about an hour to get back as well, including prep time and everything else. I kind of want to, but I don't think we're going to. I don't think we have the time really today. We'll see what we get. We'll see what time we get there at and how it's looking. But we're going to get there at, right now it says we're going to land at about 4 minutes after the next hour. So I don't think we're probably going to want to do another flight after that. We'll save it for another day. I was hoping to do a quick mountain turn, but ironically for many of you guys, many of you have more time on your hands than ever before. I have a little bit less, and it's not a complaint. But my children are not at school, which means that I've got to spend a lot more time with them, which is fine. That's not a bad thing, but it just means that I just have less time than I would almost normally have when they're at school all day to be getting online, doing streaming, and whatever else. So it's funny how this has affected different people in different ways. Some of us are stuck at home a lot more. Some of us are spending a lot more time with their families, which is great. We're engaging with our families, and it's nice to see people kind of putting things down. Apparently, the other thing people are doing a lot is phoning people. Something that hasn't happened in a long time, and there's something more personal about a phone call than a text message. It's, I guess, more intimate for sure. Actually talking to people, I've always setting aside time specifically to focus on a phone call, as opposed to texting, where you can just you can look away and not text, and nobody knows that you looked away, that you're not texting, you're not participating in the conversation for that minute. So there's something intimate about a phone call, and it's funny, but apparently phone calls are way back up again. With everybody currently being in isolation, it's one way that we can reach out and touch other people around us is to make phone calls. So a lot of American cell phone carriers are reporting record amounts of phone calls happening, and texting is actually almost going down, but record amounts of phone calls happening as people are doing anything to sort of reach across the physical divide and make a social connection with people in a way that's much more real than the digital connections ever allow, than texting and social media, social messengers ever really allow. So it's kind of neat to see that. It's just nice to get the chance to spend time with family, because it's also something most of us never have enough time to do in this day and age anymore. So it's a nice little silver lining, trying to see the silver linings of the situation we're all stuck in. One more thing I did find out, I'm just going to trim away a little bit, and I mentioned this in my last stream, and I'm so happy that so many developers have gotten on board with this, but so many people are having stay-at-home sales to help encourage people, give people a reason to fly, give them somewhere new to fly, somewhere new to try out, something fun to do with their sim. So I'm happy to see that so many developers are really taking advantage of this opportunity to make a few sales. But you know, support the community. Some places have given away free add-ons, giving away what is normally a payware add-on for free, just to do something for the community, to give back to the community, which is great to see. So for those of you that are interested in it, I believe it's JustSim has announced a 24-hour sale where a selection of, I think it's 8 or 10 different airports, are going to be €5 each for that day. So if you've been keeping an eye out for JustSim sales and are interested in any of their airports, check it out April 2nd. Hopefully I'm going to get this stream on YouTube before April 2nd so you guys can all find out about it. But April 2nd, check out the JustSim catalog on SimMarket and wherever else you can get it, because apparently they're going to have a €5 sale. Not all their sceneries, but about 10 or 12 of them, I think, I didn't count exactly, are going to be on sale for €5 each. Even these are sceneries that normally are in the neighborhood of €20, so it's like a 75% off sale for a lot of them. So it's a good deal. If you guys are thinking about picking them up, check out the sale at the very least. There's information on FS Elite, or just log into your favorite web store that sells JustSim products. I know SimMarket does, on April 2nd. 24 hours only on April 2nd, guys. So check that out, support them. You know, They put out some good scenery. They put out a large variety of European scenery. So if you're looking to bone up your European scenery a little bit, that'll be the way to do it. I think that's about as fast as we're getting. Let's go ahead with those cruise check. We just get the props back to 850 for cruise. And there we go. So now we're looking at less than 40 minutes from now, 36 minutes till we arrive in Kamloops from this point. So we're getting there. We are getting there, one little bit at a time. So we're already going to be ready to start our approach planning very soon. The one thing I did want to mention, however, and it is absolutely phenomenal because it never seems to stop, is the crazy popularity of VATSIM at this point, at this day and age. It's now Monday, March 30th, so it's now a Monday. This weekend was unbelievable. If you were on the VATSIM network, if you're a fan of VATSIM at all, if you follow VATSIM at all, unbelievable weekend for the network. To say that the records were smashed is still an understatement. On Sunday, I happened to be online for a bit of time on Sunday, and I was watching the network all weekend. On Sunday afternoon, evening European time, afternoon North American time, they broke the all-time connection record with over 2,500 simultaneous individual users online, 2,500 pilots and controllers online flying and controlling in the VATSIM world at the same time. And this smashed the previous record, the pre-COVID records, if you will, because I'm going to compare these all to the pre-COVID records, because the records just keep getting broken day by day. But the pre-COVID record was in the neighborhood of 1,600 connections. So by almost 1,000 connections on a non-event day, that was on a cross-the-pond day, where the previous record was set last year at 1,600 simultaneous connections, 1,600 simultaneous users, not including ATIS connections, so separate users online. And this week, smashed by almost 1,000, by 67% higher number than the previous pre-COVID records. 2,500 simultaneous users, over 10,000 users online in a 24-hour period. It just blowing me out of the water how much people are enjoying this the network during all this downtime, as it were. And good to see that for the most part the network seems to be holding it up. It seems to have a few issues here and there. I think several people have experienced this. I know I've seen it a couple times. Voice server disconnects, not disconnected from the network, but just momentarily disconnected from the voice server, and then your client automatically reconnects. So not a big deal, but still, nevertheless, it's a huge amount of people online, and to see that the network infrastructure is able to handle this for the most part with very minimal hiccups, I think is great news. First of all, it shows some real resilience on the part of the architecture. So it's been well designed. It can scale well. So I think they've moved it to I'm not sure. I think they moved to Amazon Web Services. I'm pretty sure they're using a cloud provider now, anyways, as opposed to individual donated servers. It's now a donated cloud account, so it can be scaled easily, and it does appear to be working. It does appear to be scaling up as people are getting online in record numbers. Even right now, here's us right now, as I just slide my VATSPY window over here, but here's us, Encore 3111, from Calgary over to Kelowna. If you look down here at the bottom, if you can read that or not, 1,850 total connections, including over 1,500 pilots, 181 controllers, and a whole number of ATISs. If I slide this over here, 91 ATISs, 51 observers, but 1,800 total connections. This beats the previous cross the pond record, and this is just a Monday. It's supposedly a work day. Obviously a lot of people are stuck at home, but still, even on a weekday, on a normal work day, to see the records, being beaten, the old record being beaten, it's just quite something. And to see the people, it's quite something to see the number of people online, whereas before you'd log on a Monday afternoon in Calgary and you wouldn't see any other airplanes. Today we saw an airplane parked next to us. We almost hit another airplane on departure as they were landing. We're not isolated anymore. There's tons of people online everywhere. The controllers especially are getting a workout anywhere they log on. Dozens and dozens of pilots within an hour or two of logging on are online, are controlling. It's absolutely phenomenal to see. So I'm so happy to see that, and I hope that it's going to continue this way. I know it won't. once you know, the restrictions and everything lifts. It'll be a bit of a loss. It'll be a bit sad, but it's quite something to see what's going on right now. The other thing that also may impact us in the future, and they've been talking about a little bit, I haven't read too much about it yet, but I saw that Microsoft did talk about how multiplayer is going to work in FS 2020, and it sounds like what they're planning on right now is their own separate set of servers, and you can connect and fly with other people through their servers. Kudos to Microsoft for knowing. Well, I don't think there's much kudos involved here, because frankly, at this point in time, if you're not creating a world that at least has an online option, especially something that can be used in a multiplayer environment like a flight simulator, to not be baking that sort of support in right from the start is just foolish. Most games these days are played by multiple people in an online environment, so to not include that, you know, it's not kudos for including it. It would be a real downfall if it wasn't included. That being said, I certainly hope they're contemplating baking in support for the online flying networks, because the online multiplayer systems they're creating are only for pilots to fly and do not provide any ATC services. Supposedly ATC will be provided in the game. I think we've all seen how that works. There's nothing that quite can substitute for a real-world controller in terms of being able to take a huge amount of variables and factor them in to come up with a workable, realistic plan. No amount of computerized ATC is quite able to handle that at this point. Certainly not the kind of computerized ATC we're dealing with. They can handle basic rudimentary things. They can set you up on a base and a downwind. But in terms of spacing out airplanes, deciding who gets to take off and land, making those kind of decisions, those are decisions that are still best made by humans. So my hope is that in Microsoft 2020, they are baking in support for the online ATC networks as well. Obviously, VATSIM being my favorite, I would, you know, I want to see VATSIM baked in. I would like to also see Aveo baked in. Even though I don't support it as a network, I want people to have that option. I want that to be a default included option, is that, hey guys, we are going to include your a connection to your favorite network, so you can get ATC online. And I think, you know, I mean, that won't be a make or break for me, but it'll definitely be important to me. I can't even dream of flying offline anymore at this point. It's such a... This is just the way I function. I fly online. I want to see the other people online. I want to participate in this community online. So to not be part of the online community to me would be a fool's errand anyways on Microsoft's part. So we will see what we will see anyways. Alright, as we're trucking along here, we're under 30 minutes to our destination, so I think it's time to already start analyzing our destination here. So Kamloops today, the 1600 Zulu weather, winds out of the northeast, 0506. So let's see, I have never even looked at these charts, so let's figure out what we're doing here. Kamloops, open charts list. Alright, looks like we got a bunch of approaches here. We have no stars for Kamloops. Let's have a look at the airport itself, because I've never even been to this airport. So we've got east-west. I don't think we're going to be landing on this runway here. Don't think we're going to be landing on that runway that is 49 feet wide. I think we're going to reserve our judgment for runway 0927. So we'll do 09, I think, based on the winds being out of the east. What do we have in terms of approaches? We do have an ILS to 09. I'm going to pin that one because I think we're going to do the ILS. It's just easier. It's got some base points on it anyway, so it wouldn't be much worse than the Arnab Zulu. It seems to start at the same point, Eblem. So let's plan on that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop out the FMS, but I'm also going to pull up the FMS here in the corner because this is how I like to program it, except that it always times out on me. I really have got to remove the screensaver from this. Alright, pause my track IR for a moment. Broadcast with FMS. There we go. Alright. So, let's go ahead and do flight plan, menu, and let's pick out the arrival. So we did pick out runway 09 as our arrival runway. There is no arrival procedure, no star, so we're just going to do the ILS to runway 09. And we're going to do it via the Eblem transition. Flight plan, that should load it all in there. Eblem, okay, that all looks good. Let us now have a quick look down here There we go, and Uxid. And then from Uxid we can go direct to Eblem. That looks like that's going to be fine. That'll put us more or less right overhead the approach. So let's go ahead and close that up. So we'll just simply, we can just do this. We can just make number 9 go right there. Number 9 is Eblem, so it's just going to copy that up in there. To position number 8, move everything else up, and there we go. Now we've got a transition set there, which is perfect. The other thing we can do, of course, is our VNav planning. So again, let's go here to our chart. Eblem, 8,000. Then we hit 6,200. So let's see here. The Kamloops VOR, where's the the Kamloops NDB is way off here to the east. YKA NDB, you can see it just linking over here in the east, so it's somewhere east of our approach path. So we will definitely be in the 8,000 sector, so we can plan to cross Eblem at 8,000 without too much problem. So that's going to be our VNav plan there. So VNav for 2, the fix is Eblem. Cross it at 8,000 at 1,800 foot per minute descent. That's going to be a 3-degree descent, and our top of descent is in 101 miles or 18 minutes. So that means we have 18 minutes to figure out the rest of what we're doing here. I do see some nice mountains going by in the corner. You guys see that? Starting to break up the clouds a little bit here. It's not the best, but it's getting there. Okay, so before I do anything else with these approach charts here, actually no, since I have the approach charts up, let's go ahead and set up the rest of this approach here. So 1093 and 087 is what we have to set up. 1093 and 087. So let's come down here and let's work on our Arctus 1093. And we can do it here. We should be able to anyways. No, that one never likes me to do it on this side for some reason, even though it's in both. Oh, this one's not in both mode. Ah, hold on. Still doesn't like it. Alright, that's fine. We can change it over here to 1093. You should be able to change both tabs, though. This is a glitch. 1093. Alright, both sides are set. 087 for the inbound course. The FO is not flying, so we can set his inbound course really easily. It's an 8, right? Or is it 097? I think it's 097, isn't it? That's 087. There we go. Put him back in FMS mode. And then for me, because I'm flying, I can't disconnect, so all I do is I press and hold the format button for 3 seconds. It brings my ILS up here. Course 087. This ought to be a nice approach too, because we'll fly right past the airport, then circle back around to land on it. So this should work out pretty nicely, I think. I hope. Okay, so that's set. Let's do the other thing we can do is, of course, the minimums for this approach, and then we can do approach speed. So the minimums for this approach. 1646, 1 1/4, that's 500 feet above the ground. That should be fine. It was 40 miles and 2,500 foot scattered, so I think we're good. 1646. So we got to set 1650 for our MDA here. Wind this all the way down from Calgary. Oop. La la la, winding it down. Almost there, winding it down. There we go, 1650. And while I'm thinking about it, let's also make sure our landing elevation is set for about 1100, because that's going to be the elevation of the field. There we go. Alright, last but not least, speeds. So the one thing we need then is a performance page back again. So we can say at Kelowna 59.3 is going to be 60,000 pound landing numbers pretty much, because we're going to add 500. We're probably going to land at about 59,800-ish. So we'll just round it up to 60,000, which I have here. There we go. What was the length of the runway in Kelowna? Or not Kelowna, Kamloops, excuse me. 8,000. That's still a pretty long runway. We could do it as a flap 15 landing. Last question, is this a normal 3-degree glide slope? 3.8 1 degree glide slope. So it's just a tiny bit steeper than normal. It's pretty close to a normal glide slope. You know what? Yeah, let's do it as flap 15, not 35. So we're going to do flap 15 landing. Alright, so 124. 114. So VREF of 124, VGO of 114. Fry and climb are 28 and 51. And 51. 30 and 51. Alright, the speeds are set. I think we've got everything just about set up here for our arrival. I think we have everything just about set up for arrival here. Oh, this is, yeah, no, that's working. Okay, can't think of anything else. I guess the other thing to do would be check the NOTAM page, make sure there's no relevant NOTAMs in my sim brief here really quickly. So let's have a look at my flight plan over here. Airport rescue firefighting is amended. Probably some people are out sick. So 422 is closed due to no winter maintenance right now. That's fine. And the DME is unserviceable. No, that would be, it's okay. We're just flying the ILS. We don't need the DME. The other thing I want to just check too, really quickly, is I don't know if there is a specific gate designated. Gate 2 apparently in Kamloops today. So, alright, let's see if we can do that. And that's about it. So we're just about ready. So, you ready for the approach brief? Are you ready for the approach brief?
Go ahead.
Alright, so today there will be no arrival. First of all, the speeds are in, and the distance is checked as an 8,000 foot runway, so we're doing a flap 15 landing. There is no arrival procedure. We're going to go transition straight into the ILS runway 09 in Kamloops 11-3 and effective on the 10th of October. 1093, let's see if I can turn my head in such a way that we can just confirm that it is set twice. 1093, yep. And the final approach course 087 we did set. The glide slope at MDES 3100. About that. I will try to use my FMS here. Let's see here. 087 glide slope at MDES 3130. The ILSDA of 1646. We've got 1650 set. And the touchdown zone at 1100 and change. MSA 8200 to the northeast of the Kamloops beacon. Most of the rest of the sector is 8000. So as long as we pass west of the airport, we're good down to as low as 8000. Climb track 08, missed approaches, climb to track 083 to 4 IKA, east of the YZK NDB, climb to 9500, heading 083, then intercept. Alright, so climb track 083 till we get to 4 DME, then climb to 9500 and heading of 083 and intercept the YNY 249 radial to the YNY VOR, which is Enderby. I should know these by now, but I don't. Restricted approach procedure, radar GNSS is required, safe altitude 100 miles, 12,000. Procedure turns not authorized, low DB, reliable on the 10 degree center line. The YZK Harper Ranch bearing, unreliable. Beyond 4 DME east of the NDB, the aircraft weight should not be greater than that necessarily meet the published climb gradient on the missed approach. When computing the aircraft weight, corrections will be made for the pressure, altitude, ambient temperature, wind components, and any gradient loss associated with the turn at the planned time of approach. Alright, so because this is steeper than normal missed approach procedure, so minimum missed approach procedure is if we're flying 140 knots, we have to maintain at least 1,000 feet per minute. It's a pretty reasonable estimate. Even 160 knots, we have to maintain at least 1,100 feet per minute. Until we get to at least 5,700 feet. The Mr. altitude is 9,500, so it's a long climb right back out of this valley. You can see the airport's just down this nice little valley here. Okay, so that's the approach. We'll have Odals and Pappies. It's 1 3/4 miles required. It's a beautiful day there, so we should see it no problem. And then once we get on the ground, we're going to take a convenient left turn off taxi to, I believe this is the apron right here. Itinerary and pilot parking. Pilot passenger parking, access via gate 10 only. Apron 1 restricted to scheduled passenger flights only. Only pilots familiar with local terrain should use this airport during hours of darkness. Night operation is not recommended unless all 6 hazard beacons are operating. High terrain reduces operational length of 9 and 27 Pappies. Okay, so watch out for the Pappies. Don't follow the Pappies until you're sure we're past all the terrain. So probably left turn off at Bravo, or else all the way down to the end of Charlie and taxi back to apron 1 here to park. Terrain is obviously a major issue. The 100-mile safe was 12,000 and 8,000 within 25 miles of most sectors of the airport. Otherwise, weather is VFR. Those should be good. I think I can see underneath the cloud deck there, so I think we should be able to see the ground pretty well as we come around on final. And operational, I've got nothing else too specific. We checked the NOTAMs, nothing too crazy there. Any questions?
No questions.
Here we go. Alright, good. So we got it all in there. We just a matter of flying it now. Alright, we're getting close to the end here, guys. Kamloops is what? It's about, well, it's still about 60 or 70 miles straight ahead. That missed approach is a long missed approach. You have to climb all the way. It's almost a 30 or 40 mile missed approach to get up to 9,500. Don't think we're gonna, hopefully we don't need to fly that today. Oh, I feel like I've done nothing but talk. Just lean back in the chair for a second here and stop talking, stop looking, stop playing with instruments, and just enjoy the ride for just even a couple minutes here. I think we can probably ditch this screen now. You guys have talked about the approach. I think we're all pretty much set up for it here. The one thing actually I didn't set was I didn't set the altimeter. One thing I didn't set up was the altimeter here, so what does it say here? Altimeter 2949. That's pretty low. There we go. 2949. Alright, jolly good. Almost there. Maybe take a few external shots of the airplane here for a minute. Take it off that for a second because it gets a little annoying. You can see a little bit of mountains creeping in below there. Still a very cloudy day though overall. See a little river down there in the valley. Getting there. Trying to find some nice views as well that I can use for the screenshots for the title card as well. Unfortunately, there's just not much to look at out there, and that's the disappointing thing. Is it's a pretty consistent, solid cloud deck, and that's my biggest problem here. Is that I'm not going to have anything to look at unless we can get past this cloud deck. Vancouver approach and ground are online, but no Vancouver Center. Boo. Never seem to get Vancouver Center online. That's okay. I feel like I was just going to check something, and I've forgotten already what I was going to check. What was I going to check? While I was looking at the external views, I was thinking of something and I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, it's almost a pity we won't do an overshoot and divert to Vancouver, because that would, at least I get some ATC there. I thought we were going to get some ATC in Calgary at least. I was so disappointed when he logged off just as we logged on. What an unfortunate turn of events, but there you go. There you have it. Not much you can do about it. You just roll with it. Alright, so not very long now until we get to our top of drop there. I can see it scrolling into view. It's about 20 miles away by the looks of it, and then it'll be a nice, steady, straight drop down into Kamloops. And after this, only 3 more legs left of my current tenure in a pilot's life. Unfortunately, I can't show you the job market while our flight is in progress. I am waiting to see some good jobs pop up on there. I may send out some applications to some specific airlines if the ones that I want don't pop up. The one that I'm leaning towards right now is WestJet, just because I'm really enjoying the NGXU. And I think it would be a lot of fun to take that around and use that to fly a whole schedule for a month or two. So that's the one I'm currently kind of leaning towards. Is I kind of hope WestJet comes across my plate at some point. And if they don't come across my plate, I may apply to them. Or maybe even Sunwing. My only issue with Sunwing is it's a 3-7 operator, so it would work as well for the NGXU, but the WestJet has a lot of domestic and transborder destinations. So a lot of US and Canada, which is a lot of the airports I have. Sunwing is more of a tropical destination airline. I don't have a whole lot of tropical scenery at this point, so if I was to do Sunwing, I would be visiting a lot of islands using either freeware scenery or default scenery, either way. So that's why I kind of lean towards WestJet as my next preferred carrier, just because it would hit me up a lot of airports that I'm very used to. Or not that I'm very used to, that I already have available in my scenery. So, alright, one thing I've noticed now here, just sitting here staring straight ahead, is that our VNAV is coming to life. If you notice that on the PFD, I don't know if you noticed that down here, but on the right side of the PFD, once the VNAV flag comes up, that means you're within 2 minutes of your top of descent, which means you can arm your VNAV. So I'm going to go ahead and arm a descent down to 12,000. 12,000 because that is the highest, that is the 100-mile safe altitude. So I got 12,000 feet set on cell, and the VNAV is armed. And there we go. We are almost ready. Give it another not even 2 minutes, and we'll be starting down, and then it'll be busy, because then we've got to monitor power constantly in this airplane. One thing you got to do in the Dash 8, in the descent, for the climb and cruise, you pretty much just set the power and forget it. Set it and forget it, and you're fine. It's not as sensitive in power as a jet. Jets tend to fluctuate the power a little bit more and constantly need little adjustments. A turboprop doesn't need that much adjustment, so an auto thrust system is not a requirement. But it's the descent where you're going to notice it, where you're going to need it. So here comes a busy part of the arrival, but that's okay. Makes time go by faster. It'll be a little bit boring when we start flying a jet around, and literally we just set everything, and then we just sit here and we look at everything, and the world goes by, the instruments tick around, the altitude goes up, it goes down, the speed stays the same, but we won't be in control of any of it because the FMS runs everything when you get into a jet, and that's simultaneously an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage, of course, is that it's easy to fly and you can do a lot of things with it, but the disadvantage being, of course, then you're out of the loop with the airplane. With this airplane, you're very much in the loop all the time. Here comes the VNAV path, any second now. VNAV path. And even before it starts to accelerate, just pull that power off. Don't even let it accelerate. It's not going to be idle, but it's probably going to be pretty close to it. And down we go. We should hopefully, maybe even be able to spot the airport of Kamloops in our descent as we go down here. And maybe even a quick radio call would be appropriate. Kamloops traffic, Encore 3111 is about 25 miles east of the field, starting descent from flight level 240, planning left downwind for an ILS runway 09er. Starting to see a little bit more mountainous terrain. Isn't it ironic that Calgary was snow-covered Yet out here in the mountains, it looks pretty nice and green right now. It looks very nice in April out here, well above zero. What is it in Kamloops here? It's 8 degrees in Kamloops. Oh, it's a nice day in Kamloops. Alright, so now we're going to turn direct to Emblem, which is the first fix here, the transition fix on the approach. And speaking of my wonderful children who are home all the time, just brought me a wonderful little surprise little coconut bar. What a nice little treat as we're sitting here flying. Definitely some good in-flight service here on Encore apparently. Homemade coconut blackberry bar. Wow. Sometimes it pays to be a pilot. That's really good. You know, sometimes it pays to have your children home from school. Alright, looking pretty good. I'm just going to zoom this in one notch here as we go down. A pity they didn't bring it to me in cruise. Now here I am working hard in the descent to manage this aircraft. Not going to have time for more than a couple of bites here, but I will have them in a minute. Just going to make sure we're just hitting transition here, so we're just going to do our descent checklist because that's pretty much the transition. Alright, so 2949. Descent checklist to the line.
Altimeters.
2949 set. Cross check.
2949 set. Cross check. Fuel balance. Check. Pressurization set. Cabin PA. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival. Cabin PA complete. Descent belt switch.
On.
On. Approach and landing brief.
Completed.
Complete. Descent checklist completed to the line.
Alright. Descent checklist is done. We got the prop heat on because we're starting to hit the cloud deck, and it is still minus 25 out there, so we definitely need prop heat on for this descent. And we've got our seatbelt sign on because it's probably going to be a little bit bumpy as we pass through this cloud deck here. We're pretty much almost a beam Kamloops right now. Another couple hundred feet here anyways, and we'll be another couple miles will be a beam Kamloops. So it's down here somewhere. We're going to go past it, circle around, and do that ILS to 09. Kind of make out some stuff down there. I can sort of see some roads, some river valleys winding. I see a big river down there. Where's the lake? Alright, so somewhere down there should be the Kamloops airport, I guess. Or did we already pass it? I think we already passed it now. Yeah, we passed it. But basically we're going to turn around and follow that river valley down. Have another bite of my delicious dessert.
1,000 to go.
Alright, oh, that's so good. Kids like to
Looks
bake.
like we're picking up some ice.
Really? Okay. Set airframe mode to fast.
Airframe mode set to fast.
Set reference speeds to increase.
Reference speed set to increase.
Thank you. Below the line.
GPWS landing flat. Selected 10 degrees. Fuel transfer. Off. Hydraulic pressure quantity. Check. Caution warning lights. Check. Approach and flare lights. On. Ref speeds. Switch bugs.
Increase set.
Increase set. FA notification. Complete. Descent checklist complete.
Forgot the call there for a second. Pardon me. Okay, let's just go ahead and just check out this chart one more time. Is there a speed? There's a max to 10 knots at Eblum. That's the speed right there, and then 6,200 inbound from Eblum. Once we get down to 6,200, we can intercept the glide slope at that altitude. So, max 210 knots for the next fix, so we gotta still slow the speed down here. Now we're starting to enjoy the mountains a little bit more here. Have to be below the cloud deck. We'll kill the ice protection shortly here. So max 210 knots for the next leg here. There we go, max 210 knots, and then after the left turn at Eblum, we can go down to 6,200, and that's where we'll intercept the approach. Swing around behind us, back down the river valley to Kelowna. I don't know why I keep calling it Kelowna. It's Kamloops. Kamloops. It's the K's that are throwing me for a loop. I don't know why I want to call it Kelowna so badly. It's Kamloops, this one. Kamloops. Definitely have to be careful out here that you do follow the approach procedures carefully, because there is a lot of mountainous terrain out here. Alright, so we're just going to aim to keep the speed right around 200 here.
1,000 to go.
Alt cell.
Check.
Okay, slowed down more than I meant to there as we make the turn here, but now we're going to let it just descend down 1,000 feet per minute down to 6,200. And I'm going to switch this guy over to the low glide slope so I can see where we are, and actually we do need to hustle down a lot more than that. So let's do this. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
See the glide slope and we're above it. We'll just do the heading
1,000 to
mode.
go.
Low glide slope.
Check.
And then approach altitude of 9,500 set. There we go. In the turn. There we go. We're on different ILSs now. We were both on the same ILS for some reason. Alright, just follow the localize the glide slope down the valley, and Kamloops Airport should be there somewhere. I don't see it quite yet, but we'll see it soon. There we go. Got a little bit tight there to get down. I was in a little bit of a hurry to get down there, but we're okay now. Kamloops should be just at the far end of this valley here, I believe. Do we have a DME readout on this one? Yeah, 14.1, okay. So it's a little bit of a long final, but you gotta carve it through this whole valley, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Gear down.
Gear down.
I think I see the runway there, just to the left of the river there, and that little spit, you see a little line there. I think that's the runway we're aiming for right there. Flap 10.
Check the speed.
Flap 10.
Flaps 10.
Flap 15. Flap 15 before landing checklist.
Flaps 15. Landing gear.
Down 3 green.
Down 3 green. Condition levers.
Max.
Max. Auxiliary standby PTU pumps. On.
On.
Leads. On and min. FA notification. Complete. Flaps.
15 indicating 15 planned. Indicating 15, planned 15.
Indicating 15. Plan 15. Before landing checklist complete.
Set taxi light to on.
Taxi light set to on.
Kamloops traffic, Encore 3111 is on a 10 mile final runway 09er. Take off the ice protection at this point because we don't need it. We can probably go a little faster than this because we're still 8 miles final, but just want to make sure we can descend. So the missed approach is basically more or less straight ahead up to 9,500 feet. Some nice scenery here though, I gotta say. Not only is this, so this is a combination of course, Orbex's FTX Global, Global Vector, and Open Line class. So lots of stuff. Lots of good scenery, but it makes it look really good out here. See the little river valleys just carving through the mountains. I don't care. This is the default airport. The scenery here alone looks really good. Just neat to be carving down through this valley to this little tiny airport down here. And we passed I think it was MDEX at 3130. Really nice day for an approach though. Glad it's not hard IFR because you'd be missing out on all this great scenery here.
1,000 above.
Check. Getting a little tiny bit slow there. For a second, let's just take a few external shots out here. Okay,
Check.
focus, because we're getting a little slow there.
1,000.
Disengage the autopilot. a little sidestep to get on the center line here. Alright, so we're visual, we're disregarding the
100
localizer at
above.
this point. Checked.
Minimums.
Landing.
Check.
500.
Yeah, we're actually showing a little bit of tailwind on this approach, which is not what the Mentars would call it, but that's okay. It's about 5 to 7 knots right now, so... Okay, I see we're double red. Correcting.
Are you sure?
Sink rate. 10.
There we go, we got her down. I think we're gonna miss that intersection there, but that's okay. Just rolling to the end. Alright, and we're here. Welcome to Kamloops, ladies and gentlemen, and what nice scenery we have around here. Don't stop completely. As we vacate the runway. After landing checklist.
Okay.
Kamloops traffic, Encore 3111 is clear. Runway 09 will be taxiing to the apron. Ah, sorry. Just wanted to bring up the charts for a second here, and I think we're just going to taxi straight ahead. I think that's the terminal there. I think this is a little better than default scenery.
Checked. After landing checklist complete.
Checked. Alright. Conditionally for 1-star feather. Let's do a little single engine taxi. What they should be doing is starting that, and also that bleed should go off.
Checked.
30 seconds. And actually I also never activated GSX, so let's see if we have a gate. And there's a gate, so we're gonna go park over there. Okay. High pressures check. And condition lever 1 fuel off. Set taxi light to off.
Taxi light sets off.
I see you, buddy. I'm getting you. I'm getting you. Not the best scenery in the world, but GSX still adds a nice element to it. Alright. And we gotta get that off. Shut down checklist to the line. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Please connect external power.
Roger, connecting the GPU.
Parking checklist to the line.
Taxi light.
Off.
Emergency brake.
Park.
No steering.
Off.
Standby PTU pumps.
Off.
Power levers.
Disc.
Condition levers.
Start feather.
Transponder.
Captain, the GPU is now connected.
Standby.
Descend belt switch.
Off.
Leads.
Our min off. Min off.
Parking checklist completed to the line.
Below the line.
External power APU.
External power is on, APU is off.
Condition levers.
Oops, wrong one. Fuel off. Fuel off.
Lights.
Set.
Emergency light switch.
Off.
Standby, auxiliary, main, and battery master.
Batteries off.
Parking checklist complete.
Alright. And we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kamloops. Not the most detailed scenery in the world in terms of the airport, but boy, look at those mountains around there. What a gorgeous place this must be to visit. I really like it. That was a great approach too, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed it immensely. Here comes everybody to unload me. Let's see if we can do this. Baggage loader. Then we watch him just spin around. Here we go. And up goes the ramp. Any second now. There it goes. Honestly, this is really good though. But wow, what awesome scenery here. And the building, okay, it's a little generic and a little boring. But somebody obviously put a little bit of effort in actually making some realistic aprons and taxiways here. It looks really quite good here, so I'm pretty impressed with this. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this stream today. It was a lot of fun. That was a fun little adventure through the mountains. Never been to Kamloops before. It's the first time. It's a nice approach coming down there. I can't wait to look at some of those screenshots. One of those ones on final is definitely going to be the title card for this one here. And so another leg is done here. Our next flight is going to be returning to Kamloops. Let's see here. Did I get promoted yet? Not quite yet. I got 44.45 experience points, and others just over 6 experience points to get me there. But I have done a fair bit of flying today. Here's my job market. No interesting jobs in this. I looked at it earlier today. Porter Airlines would be fun, but I'm getting tired of the dash, so I really don't want to be doing Porter. I want to do something in a jet. I want to do something in a different airplane next. So, yeah. But nevertheless, I have definitely been chalking up the hours this month, more so than in, let's check my progress for the whole last, since I started this anyways, and 4.82 this month, my third busiest month after the first 2 months where I didn't tackle a lot of flights quickly. So getting some time back in here, getting back up on the network, and having some fun. It's a pity there was no ATC, and now there's ATC. I just look over at now Vancouver Center's online. Well, too bad. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot, and I am going to hopefully see you guys all out there on the VATSIM network real soon. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everybody, and stay healthy. We'll talk to you all very soon.